For the first time and in no uncertain terms, the Colorado Department of Corrections admits the way it assesses the risk levels of parolees is flawed.
And this follows a lengthy and extensive series of reports by 9 News Investigates. That admission came not long after reporter Chris Vanderveen, after 8 months of trying, finally tracked down the head of corrections in one of the most unlikely of places.
Why doesn't your director say that?
Because my team is telling me that.
His protection needs to go through, excuse me.
Guys?
Yeah, go ahead. Excuse me.
You can't block me from coming in.
I'm sorry, there's just not enough room.
Yeah, there's plenty of room right there.
I am at the edge of the door. I
No, you're
apologize.
not.
I apologize.
Well, guys, I'll meet you at the bottom, okay?
I think we're going to have to just wait for a moment.
This is watching the tease, if you will, for this story is a lot, and that's Chris Hansen.
It's Chris Hansen in the elevator
But
with the head
who
of
was
the
the
Department
guy
of Corrections.
blocking you? I know you're
The
explaining.
head of Colorado's prison system. So there's lots of leadership. There's a lot of backstory here to what's going on here. But basically, we've been asking the Department of Corrections for an interview, an on-camera interview, for like the last 8 months. And for 8 months, we've gotten a series of written statements from the Department of Corrections that really haven't answered the questions that we have. And so not too long ago, as you saw in the video, we walked up to the head of the Department of Corrections and said, hey, look, there appears to be a systemic problem with how parolees are being assessed in the state of Colorado. These are parolees that are going on to commit very high profile, oftentimes violent crimes, and you're assessing them incorrectly in a number of instances. What are you doing to fix that? That seems like an important question. And so we went up to the head of the Department of Corrections and asked a series of questions. The issue is that all the people around him at that time are all DOC leadership, Colorado Department of Corrections leadership. They're saying, we don't think he should do an interview right now. It's interesting to sort of see this situation play out. It's weird when you get in an elevator with somebody who doesn't want to do an interview with you. Chris Hansen's in the elevator with him. But there's more to that story. But at the end of the day, it shows the lengths the Department of Corrections has gone to try to not answer questions about this investigation.
Which is alarming and very concerning. And for you to continue to try to get this interview, I mean, obviously this is showing at 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock tonight.
Yeah.
And I know you can't give away too much. You got to tune in. But do you get an answer?
A little bit of an answer. And I think what's important about these types of stories is that if reporters, particularly if investigative reporters, if every time somebody told us no, that they were going to do an interview with us, and we just go away, then they would always tell us no. Like, it's not the easiest thing in the world to go on camera and answer questions about something you may be messing up on. But in this instance, we felt like after 8 months of trying, I think we've given enough time for the Department of Corrections to go on camera answers. We get some answers. I think what's clear is the Department of Corrections is admitting that they have problems within their assessment of their parole assessments. But I'd like to know more than that. We got some answers, probably not all of the answers we'd like, but at least more of the answers we've gotten in the last 8 months.
And for all those families you've interviewed, because you don't want to have to tell any more of those stories. So,
look, these are some of the most high-profile crimes that we cover around here,
Yep.
and they have that common thread of parolees being involved. These are people that have already been through in prison. They've gotten out, and they are given an at-risk designation. Sometimes the state doesn't do a good job at that at-risk designation.
Okay, we'll watch tonight.
Yes, we will. I'll be tuning
really
in.
interesting. That was a cozy elevator for Chris Hansen.
Cozy.
Thank you, Chris.
And you could have gotten in.
Yeah, you
I was plenty
They
of
wouldn't
room.
let you. They
Plenty of
wouldn't-
room.
Yes.